Hi everyone, this is Chasta USA channel. My name is Kirill and we talk about watches here. Today perhaps the most anticipated review, as we have those very rectangular G-Shock GW-M5610U-1E, a model that I've been wearing myself for a long time. Now it's produced in this particular interpretation with the letter U with an updated module. And today we'll see what they've updated there, because we have the opportunity to compare with exactly the same new ones from the previous generation without the letter U, which somehow also reached us. And additionally, we'll see what all this turns into after 10 years of use. The model with the letter U with the updated module can be purchased in my store, chasterclub.com. Links will be in the description. Well, as they say, find 10 differences, although from this angle there's essentially only one difference, in the inscription on the top right. In the old version, the previous generation had EL backlight, whereas the new model only has light. Yes, they changed the backlight, and we'll certainly look at this further, but the case itself hasn't changed. The dimensions are millimeter to millimeter the same polymer material, the same shape, all identical. And even the back cover hasn't changed much. The same satin finish, the same information about the watch, about their water resistance. All identical. Yes, the mineral glass is also flat, recessed, unchanged. And here is the dial. The dial too, perhaps someone might think that it hasn't changed, but in fact the numbers have become a little thicker if you look really closely, although it's barely noticeable. From a distance it seems that the thickness hasn't changed. Therefore the ordinary eye most likely won't catch this, but the functionality has indeed changed. And here it's probably more interesting to look at in comparison. Let's go through the functions directly. World time, we go there in both. I remind you that in the previous generation it will be on the left. In the new one, on the right. If in the old generation we see only one time zone, then in the new one we can set up to 5 of them. That is, if you want to know the time in several time zones at once. This model gives you such an opportunity, and plus the number of time zones has increased. There were 29, now there are 31. Next we move to the alarm mode. Here without significant changes, that is, also 4 regular alarms, 1 with time postponement, plus the hourly signal is set. The only difference is in the display in the upper right corner. But then moving to the stopwatch mode, we already see such a significant change. If in the old version we have the clock displayed, then in the new one the current time is shown, which is convenient. I think when you measure time intervals, you can still see what time it is now. But the timer here is perhaps the most massive change. Not only can we see the current time, but we can also set the timer down to the second. Yes, it still measures up to 24 hours, but if in the old version we could set a timer for 1 minute, for 2 hours, for example, then in the new one we can now set a timer, for example, for 10 minutes and 2 seconds. I think many people will like this. It has a lot of potential to appeal to a wide audience. Look, 10 minutes, 2 seconds. The countdown has started and we still see the current time in the upper right corner. Very convenient and of course ergonomic. Let's go to the current time mode. And by the way, in the new version, they added another interesting function. We can return to the current time from any mode by holding down the bottom left button. I'll remind you that in the previous version, holding the bottom left button would turn off the button sounds. Among other things, there are more new features here. Yes, that's not all. If we go to settings, we discover that here, among other things, you can also change the order of the number and month. That is, you can keep the usual English arrangement, month and days, or you can change it to what's more familiar to us, days and month. Plus languages for days of the week can be understood, including here there is also Russian language. So this might also appeal to someone. But this change shocked me. I've owned the previous series watch for 10 years. I bought it in 2014 And I didn't even think about the fact that you couldn't change the backlight duration in it. That is, there was only 1.5 seconds, but here it's 1.5 or 3 seconds. It would seem that such a familiar change in backlight actually wasn't in the old version yet. And here I think it's worth diving a little into history. 2008 already distant, and for the first time the GW-M5600 is released. The ancestor of our today's G-Shocks, Module 3063. The functionality is absolutely the same, both solar battery and radio synchronization, though with 5 towers, not 6. And naturally, we see the number 5 on the dial. The series was produced for a short time until 2010, and then Casio systematically implemented multiband 6 when the Chinese tower was added. And in August, the GW-M5610 series was released with module 3159. Interestingly, it didn't start with the classic, but with a curious variant with a green dial. Well, just a year later, the GW-M5610U-1E, a model that I've been wearing for almost 10 years now, and it has never let me down. By the way, the series was produced until 2020, and in 2020, 2 interesting collaborations were released. One of them with an international whale research center, and the second with the Bamford Watch Atelier, which is known for its customizations of Rolex and many other Swiss brands. And then in July 2021, there was a mass update of rectangular G-Shocks. Actually, 6 models underwent these updates. The letter U was added to their article number. First of all, this model G5600, it's the main bestseller of our store. They are most often ordered. It's understandable. Affordable price, solar battery, though no radio synchronization, but it still doesn't work in Russia, at least in its central part, practically. Next, GW5000. It is of course known for its steel screw-down case back with black DLC coating of such a premium look. Next was an interesting model with a titanium case back or a carbon fiber strap, and 3 models precisely from the GW-M5610 series underwent changes, in particular our main guest today. So the backlight, in the updated module, it's LED based, as you understand. It's located on the left, illuminating the entire dial with a sky blue shade, and seemingly the readability is good, and apparently can be extended for 3 seconds, like now. That is, overall, no questions. But personally for me, this is not an improvement, but a deterioration, because previously it was electroluminescent. That is, each pixel was evenly illuminated and also with such a greenish blue tint. Personally, I certainly liked the previous lighting. Yes, it was only set for 1.5 seconds, but somehow I'm more used to it. I've never had problems with not being able to read the time in 1.5 seconds. Here, of course, it's a matter of taste. Everything remains at your discretion, which one you like more, but in my opinion, the one on the left looks somewhat more interesting. I wear the watch on my wrist as tradition dictates. However, I don't see much point in it, because we've had this model for 10 years, because you've constantly seen it on my hand. And here, the dimensions, as I already said, are exactly the same. 46.7 millimeters, 43.2 millimeters, 12.7 millimeters, weight 52 grams. Lots of holes on the wristband, fitting somewhere from 14 to 22 centimeters. That is, no changes, an ideal model for small and medium wrists, because the dimensions, due to the rectangular shape, are distributed along the hand. From my experience, I can say that over these 10 years, I've worn this model in various situations. Of course, the main use is summer, bare wrist, sports, leisure. Certainly, they are perfectly suited for these conditions because they will never run out of power thanks to solar energy, and you can swim with them. Mine have been in salt water, fresh water, in cold, in heat, and have been dropped many times. In general, they are ready for the most severe tests while still looking stylish. Just take a look. What happened to them over 10 years? Well, nothing happened to them over 10 years, although I wouldn't say I wore them super carefully. So yes, we can see that over time the surface has become let's say more glossy, but that's understandable. It's been 10 years. Look, absolutely zero complaints and the appearance has been preserved. It's pristine, you could say. No scratches, no chips, nothing. So if you need a watch that will last for a long time with a cool design, believe me, this is an excellent option. In conclusion, the update was successful and I was especially impressed by the timer. Now it can be set by the second, plus we can see the current time in both timer mode and stopwatch mode, plus minor updates such as world time, changing the position of month and date. They improved the backlight to 3 seconds, though I still prefer electroluminescent over LED, but the LED still looks great anyway. In any case, you probably won't be able to purchase the old model anywhere. I think I'll keep this one for myself for now. It hardly makes sense to put it on the website because we only have one. It somehow miraculously arrived. And the model with the updated module is also, by the way, also rare, but we have it, and not only in black color, there's also sky blue. You can purchase that one as well. At the end, I would just note a point about the back cover. Now let's take my old model and the new model. The new one is manufactured in Thailand, while the old one was manufactured in China. And Casio still produces some of their budget G-Shocks in China. Regarding the concern that some people have about Chinese manufacturing, even official Casio manufacturing, they have never let me down despite being made in China. Therefore, here, it's probably worth abandoning stereotypes and understanding that Casio's quality is always excellent. By the way, we can see that the inscriptions were a bit thicker before. Now they are. Made thinner, as it seems to me. But overall, the appearance, as I already said, the design remained practically unchanged, all because they are magnificent. I liked it at first sight. At the end, I would like to know your opinion. Did you like the updated model? Be sure to write about it in the comments, and if you like this video, then give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That's all, goodbye everyone.